Okay, this is a video about my meetup in IEEE meetup. And this is the name of my meetup that I went to is Intro to JavaScript Functions and Objects, hosted by Codesmith. And this is just a link to the meetup group. And what the group is about is mainly just about hosting weekly classes on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, as well as talk about software engineering and some career opportunities. And this is just the info of the event that I went to for Meetup. And this is just the link to it. It was on Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. It was from 6:30 to 9. And it was online. And this is just a screenshot of the event that I went to. The presenter that was at the event was Chris Suzukiya, which is a lead fellow at Codesmith. What he does in engineering is a multifaceted role that contributes to both technical and non-technical aspects of a program. He also gives lectures on different topics in programming. What was said at the event was mainly just talking about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, as well as software engineering and other career-oriented workshops. What was also talked about was how to build a website and what goes into building a website, and how HTML, CSS, and JavaScript go hand in hand in creating a website. Another thing that came up during the meeting was how to use functions and variables and how it's seen in the website, as well as how it's processed, and how each variable is executed, allocated, or how each execution goes into the website and what it's seen in the backend. The person that I met was Chris Suzukiya, which was the main presenter of my meeting. And I just asked him a few questions, and it was mainly just about what are some of the main problems when building a website, as well as what are some good resources to look into to help me build my knowledge on creating stuff for web development and websites. I also asked them what are some good places to find jobs for web development that are not paying companies, and one of the answers that he gave me was try to build an efficient website that receives that's able to receive all the traffic that you're receiving, as well as give yourself some space to make sure the website's always up and reliable, because most websites now are always using APIs and making sure that it's gathering relevant information, and it always has like a 99.9 upkeep. How was Meetup? I really liked Meetup. It was a good way to contact different people who I wouldn't have met otherwise. It was also making me more comfortable being around people who have similar interests as me. I also was able to learn about web development and HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But what I will do is I'll also look into different groups, because this was mainly just more about getting to know the basics. I also want to learn more about people's projects and what they're doing, as well as join different groups so I could also meet more different people and create more connections. For the IEEE meeting that I went to, it was the second general IEEE meeting that was at Cal State EastBay for the spring 2023 semester. It was on September 22nd, 2023. It started at 1:15. At the meeting, I was mainly just talking about the benefits of being an IEEE member. I also talked about some of their upcoming events, such as their soldering events with an FM radio. I also talked about how members can also help with designing their t-shirts for IEEE, Another event that they talked about was the IEEE Extreme event and how to join and make a team. And lastly, the last thing they talked about was the IEEE Rising Stars event. And this is just a screenshot of me going to the event. And here are just some screenshots of the Stack Overflow questions that I was looking into. And one was just how to receive and take user input and put it into a file. Because we were making a menu and it was taking in strings as well as descriptions for integer. I was taking strings for menu items as well as having ints as well for storing those items. And this is just trying to figure out a good way to implement our menu that is also updated and can be updated by the user. And another thing that I asked was about subqueries because I'm in a database class. And this is just one of the topics that I was confused on. So I looked on Stack Overflow to give me some clarity on subqueries, when to use them, and where they can be used, and how they could be implemented as well. The reason I used Stack Overflow is just so I could have a better understanding of my assignments. It also helps me figure out different ways to implement code for a specific assignment that I didn't think of before. Because one of the bad habits that I have is just coding a specific way without looking at how there could be different ways to implement a code and trying to figure out what's the best way to use it. And Stack Overflow also helps me get ideas on how to tackle certain problems and figure out what are some other problems that people had on a similar topic. And this is GitHub. One of the ways I'm using GitHub is for one of my classes, and it's for a project, so we're just trying to make sure all our files are in one place and everybody has access and can edit their files. It also keeps a good backlog on changes that people did. And what GitHub does is a web platform that helps provide a collaborative environment for software development and coding. It's mainly used for hosting and managing software projects. It also tracks versions of your code base over time. It also allows developers to create and manage branches to merge code very easily. It also keeps track of project documentation on GitHub. And that is it.